My name is Charles Ardinger, and I'll be working with you as your instructor in the English 140 class you're about to start. With that in mind, I wanted to make this brief video presentation to introduce myself and to tell you a little bit about some aspects of the class that you'll want to know about as we continue. So to begin, a little about myself. My name is Charles Ardinger. Hello. I've been working here at Coastline since 2013, starting in the Student Success Department and becoming an instructor here in the English Department. I consider myself an expert in the subject of English grammar. It's a subject I like to think about and talk about and answer questions about. So if you have any questions about English grammar, I hope you won't hesitate to email me and ask them. I really enjoy having that conversation. And that's some about me. You'll learn more about me as we continue, as I will learn about you through your writing. But before we start that process, I'd like to show you some aspects of the class that will help you as we navigate through it together. So this is our class's home page. And you know it's our home page because it's got this fancy logo right in the middle of it. I want to point out first on this home page, down the right side of the page here, down the center of the page here, are lists of assignment names and dates. This is actually a schedule for our class. These dates are the dates on which each of these assignments is due. So to know what you should be doing at any particular point in the class, all you really have to do is look at the home page and check today's date. For instance, as I look at the schedule here, I see there's an assignment due on February 7th. As I speak today, it's January 30th, so I've got a little time to think about that assignment, but it's the first thing that I should be looking at. This schedule will help you with your skill of time management, which is a vital skill for an online class. We don't meet at a regular time or in a regular place, so we're pretty much on our own for getting our assignments in on schedule. So this list of assignments and due dates will help us with that task, and that will help us succeed more easily in class. I'd also, on this front page, like to show you the top where it says Recent Announcements. I'll be making an announcement once or twice a week during our class to talk about issues of grammar I see or other issues or things that I see in my life that I think might apply to our work. The way to see these announcements is to click the title of the most recent announcement. And that will lead you to a page that looks like this. On this page are the announcements. If you like, you can pause the video to read this announcement. It says pretty much what I've already told you. Again, I'll be making these announcements once or twice a week, and they will discuss general issues regarding the class. Now, I won't necessarily quiz on the material in these announcements, but I do believe that reading them will help you as a reader and as a writer, because I think I give pretty good advice, and I think my insights are interesting. So, those are announcements. One way I have to communicate with you as we keep going. Another way is through your grades. This is a college class, excuse me, so I will be giving grades to your assignments, but I will be responding to them in other ways as well. And the best way to see that in detail is to go to the link that says Grades and click on it. That will lead you to a page that looks like this, with a list of assignment titles and dates. This assignment actually seems to have a grade already. And it does. I made up a fake student and had that fake student do the assignment and gave that assignment a grade. So let's look at how I responded to that assignment in detail by clicking on the name of the assignment, which leads you to a page that looks like this. And on this page you will see a comment, a link that says Show Rubric, and a link that says View Feedback. Now, I'll make a comment like this one for anything that you submit in class. And in the comment, I will discuss how I responded to your work as a reader, what I got from your work, I will give advice on how you could refine your work to give it more meaning, or to make it adhere more closely to an academic model. It will be a way in which you and I can communicate about what I see in your work. Another way to do that is to look at this link that says Show Rubric. Clicking this link will give you a rubric, which is a list of criteria along with point values that I can use to grade your assignment. And so you see in this assignment, you can get 4 points for fully describing a setting, 4 points for fully describing how the setting fits a character, and 4 points for grammar issues. And this student got these 4 points and these 4 points, but only got 3 of these 4 points, which tells me that as a student, I should look more closely at how I describe things in future assignments. Looking at this rubric has helped me think a little bit about how I did on this assignment and what I can do in future assignments to give my reader a better experience. I'd also like to point out this View Feedback link. Clicking this link leads to a small copy of your assignment, what you sent to me. Your copy will probably be larger because I have a camera software that requires a small screen, and so this is shrunk. But I want to point out 2 things on this assignment. These are annotations. This annotation is the kind that you will most often see. It comes between lines of typed text, and it's as if I were writing on a piece of paper that you gave me in a classroom. So this kind of annotation will suggest different word choices or different uses of grammar to make your writing get more close to that academic model that we look for in a classroom. You will also see highlighted annotations of this kind. Notice that this highlighted annotation leads to a text box. In this text box, I will write longer annotations that I can't fit between typed lines of text in your assignment. So I'll make comments about how I see particularly complicated sentences, or disagreements I might have with your reading, or approvals I might have of your reading. I'll make more detailed comments in these highlighted annotations. So this View Feedback link, this Show Rubric link, and this comment will be ways that you can get responses from me about your assignments. They're ways that we can communicate. But it does seem a little one-sided. And for that reason, I've instituted in my classes what I like to call student meeting times. What we would call office hours if I had an office. But I work from my apartment, and calling them apartment hours would seem kind of weird, so I call them student meeting times. And in this class, our student meetings are on Tuesdays between 6:30 and 8 p.m., or if you like military time, 1830 to 2000 Pacific time. I live on the west coast of the United States, so I think in Pacific time. If you live in other areas, you might have to adjust your mental clock accordingly. These happen in my Zoom office, which you will get to through this link. Clicking this link will lead you to a Zoom meeting where I will be. And there we can have a conversation, an informal conversation about whatever's on your mind. We can talk about things you see in class. We can talk about things in your life. We can talk about things in the news if you dare. We can discuss informally whatever you'd like to talk about with an instructor or, with someone like me. These are non-mandatory, non-obligatory student meetings that can give you extra credit points. So you might want to check your syllabus for that. And that is what I wanted to show you of the class's homepage. So we can bring this brief introduction to a close. I would just like to say thank you, first of all, for enrolling in the class. Without students, there would be no need for a class. Without a class, there would be no need for a teacher. And so I would like to thank you sincerely for helping me keep a job. I'd also like to thank you for the questions you're going to ask as we continue. I don't always know when I'm not making sense, and so I rely on students asking questions to help me keep communicating as effectively and meaningfully as I can, which is pretty important in a class, I think. And finally, I would like to thank you for your time and attention.